Hello and welcome to this, the 13th of Ovid's Heroides. This is a love letter from Laodamia to Protesilaus. It's a really unusual poem in the context of the collection because unlike pretty much every other man who gets a letter in Ovid's Heroides, Protesilaus is not a wrong 'un. He hasn't abandoned Laodamia by choice. He's not busy with another woman. He hasn't behaved badly at all. He's had to go away and fight the Trojan War to bring back Helen for her husband Menelaus. And he is obliged to go because all the Greek commanders, kings, have to go and fight. They'd all sworn an oath many years before that they would. And so he has to go and fight, but he doesn't want to be away from Laodamia any more than she wants him to be away. So her letter isn't reproaching him for his own behaviour. She's just asking him to stay safe. This is a straight up tragic love story, and one I have to admit I simply stole for 1,000 ships because it's so beautiful. I don't think I've ever written another straight up love story except this, and obviously I nicked it from Ovid because I'm no fool. So Laodamia is writing to Protesilaus while the Greek fleet is becalmed at Aulis. This is a really important kind of preparatory stage of the Trojan expedition, is that all the Greek forces mass at Aulis, and then they are stopped by the weather. There's just no breeze, and so they can't set sail to go to Troy until they do something horrific, which I won't tell you in case you don't know, because I don't want to spoil, well, frankly, the plot of my own book for you, but also if you were watching any one of a number of plays or reading any one of a number of books, I wouldn't want to spoil the plot for you. So Laodamia is writing to Protesilaus, and she's cross that the winds have held him at Aulis, but they didn't stop him from leaving home. Line 7, she says, "I could have given you loads more kisses and instructions," brackets, on how to keep safe, not just general instructions on how to make things and do things, not those. She says, "I could have given you loads more kisses if the weather had been bad then." Line 11, she says, "It was a wind that was suitable for sailors, not for lovers, if only it had kept him at home with her." Line 16, she describes the moment where she watches Protesilaus sail away. I nicked all of this. She watches his ship until she can't see his eyes anymore, and then she watches the ship until she can't see the sails anymore, and then when she can't make out him or the ship any longer, she collapses to the ground. She faints. Her parents try to revive her, but her love, it's an incredible word, memordit, she says, it bites at her, so she's absolutely demolished by the loss of Protesilaus. She says she doesn't want to dress up in her nice sort of regal clothes now that he's not there. She doesn't want to wear her gold clothes. She doesn't want to do her hair nicely. Another tick in the box for the theme of hairdos in Ovid's Heroides. It's an erudite paper I fully intend to write at some point. She says, "Why would I want to do my hair nicely when there's a helmet crushing yours down?" I just love that. She says she hates Paris. It's Paris she blames for starting the war, not Helen, interestingly, because we often see the emphasis the other way. She says she hopes he's as bad an enemy as he was guest, because obviously when he was Menelaus' guest, sort of ran off with his wife. So it would be great if he was as rubbish at being an enemy as rubbish at fighting. He is. At least in the Iliad, he's terrible. That would be perfect. And Menelaus doesn't escape her irritation either. She says, "Oh yeah, you're too worked up about your stolen wife. How many tears are being wept in your pursuit of vengeance?" She's not impressed with any of these men. Good for her. It offers us a very different angle on the war, I think. Laodamia thinks that Paris used his frigias opes, his Phrygian wealth, to impress Helen. She says that's what conquered the daughter of Leda. That's what won Helen over. It's the money, not the beauty. She didn't run away for love. She ran away for hard. Well, I guess cash doesn't exist yet, but gold, I suppose, is what we're really saying. And then line 65, she gets her instructions into Protesilaus. These are the ones that she didn't have time to tell him enough before he left. She says, "You've got to watch out for Hector, the great Trojan warrior, who will, I'm afraid, spoiler, meet Protesilaus on the shore outside Troy." She says, "You've got to watch out for Hector, avoid him. In fact, avoid everyone." She doesn't really want him to be fighting in this war at all. She says, "Imagine there are loads of Hectors, avoid the lot." I love her. She says, "When you put your armour on in the morning, say to yourself, 'Parce me jussit Laodamia sit.' Laodamia said, 'Be careful.'" she's so parental to him. It really, all these women break my heart, eh? She says, let Menelaus rush into fight, line 73. You're just fighting to stay alive. It doesn't matter, basically, if they win back his wife or they don't. Your only job is to come home alive. Line 83, she says, Protesilaus is much better at loving than fighting. Line 84, Bella Garan Ali, Protesilaus Amet, let others make war, let Protesilaus make love. I think I'm beginning to see what she sees in Protesilaus. I don't know if anyone else can possibly unpick this subtext, but I think maybe he's just dynamite in bed and she really resents him going away. There were bad omens when he left. She says, line 90, he stumbled as he was crossing his father's threshold to go away. This is a terrible omen. She says, I'm only mentioning it now so you take care. Line 93, she says, whoever is the first to land, there's this prophecy that they will die. Whoever's first off their ship will die, they're doomed. So don't be too keen. She says, this is one of my favourite lines in all of Ovid, line 97, she says, among the 1,000 ships, let yours be Millensima, the 1,000th one. And then, line 99, she says, be the last one off that ship. She's determined he won't be first by making sure he's absolutely last. His name, Protesilaus, I'm afraid implies that he's going to be the first one off the ships. When you come back, she says, line 101, then you can hurry. In fact, don't worry if Phoebus is hiding. She means don't worry if it's nighttime, don't worry if it's not the day. Come then, come anyway, that's absolutely fine. In fact, line 105, she says, night is better than day. Girls are big fans of being embraced by night. I bet they are. What was I saying about him moments ago? How long till I get to hold you again? She says, line 115, till I am released into languid delight. Well, I think that tells us a great deal about the appeal of Protesilaus. Released is an interesting verb to choose, I would say. Line 117, once again, Ovid just nails this. She says, how long till we're together on the couch and you tell me about all your brave deeds? Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing on the couch for sure. She says, I will definitely be listening. But, at the same time, multa tamen capies oscula multa darbis, you'll get a lot of kisses and you will give a lot of kisses. I bet he will. She thinks, Laodamia thinks this delay at Aulis, which is holding the Greeks up, means that they should go home again. She says, line 132, this isn't an accident, this is divine intervention. Take the fricking hint and come home. Line 137, it's such an interesting point, I think. She says she's jealous of the Trojan women. She's jealous of these women whose city is going to be besieged, who are going to see all the deaths of their menfolk. But she's jealous of them because they can kiss their husbands before their husbands go to fight. And when their husbands come back off the battlefield, they can strip their armour off them and embrace their weary bodies. I feel like Laodamia would definitely take advantage of a weary man. I don't know about you. She says, meanwhile, we are full of uncertainty. Fear makes us think anything that could happen has happened. I think it's such an psychologically incisive piece of writing. Of course, that's what it's like. Not knowing things is way worse than knowing them, even if the thing that you know is bad. Once again, Ovid just nails it. She makes a final plea to him. Actually, before that, she tells him that she's got a statue of him made out of wax, like a wax figurine of him that looks exactly like him. Something that, again, I stole for my book. But her final plea, line 166, she says, if you care about me, take care of yourself. I'll see you next week for Hypermestra, who unusually, out of her 49 sisters, has not murdered her husband. So well done her, or possibly badly done them. I suppose it depends on one's perspective. I'll see you next time.